What up, babies? It's been a minute since we had a reality check video where I started out with, you know, and so much has occurred over from the time from where I started to now, and I almost don't know where to begin. But it's almost like, what the fuck do I talk about, you know? Because when it boils down to it with social media and all that shit, like, a lot of the points have already been spoken on, spoken of, over exaggerated. And I just don't want to keep regurgitating the same information that's already out there. I'm not interested in doing that. I'm not interested in doing talking points that are already being talked about. I'm not interested in engaging in conversation and topics that's going to cause division, especially at this time. Like, granted, yes, it is important to be aware of how people operate, but at this point in time, with everything that's happening in the world, bro, we don't need to have rhetorics where it's going to cause division. We have enough of that. And I don't know if anybody has been paying attention to what's actually happening in the world. You know, America is literally going backwards towards slavery times. And that's been my main concern. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and the fact that Jim Crow is like slowly but surely coming back to be a mainstream lifestyle, you know, and that's huge. That's really huge, especially the part of it that's anti-Christian, you know. And for those of you that know, was raised Christian, but I don't identify as Christian. I'm not a Christian, although I do take teachings from Christianity, although I do take some of the wisdom I've learned from Christianity. I'm not a Christian. You know what I'm saying? Things like that's happening in the world, that's kind of just been more so my focus, tightening up on my personal studies that, you know, I'm interested in and expanding on. So it's just kind of like, yo, I just been chilling for real. I just really been chilling and watching how things been playing out, how life been. You feel what I'm saying? I'm in my home now. The last time I know you guys probably seen me, I was staying with somebody. Then I jumped to a room, and now I'm in my home. You know what I mean? And with that, like I said, a lot has transpired since then. You feel what I'm saying? So I just been focused on getting my shit together and maintaining the things that I've built for myself, maintaining the life I've built for myself. You know what I mean? So I just been focusing on that, making sure that I got my shit together, making sure that I'm not being offended by everything, triggered by everything, addressing things within myself, realizing how I'm playing into Machiavellianism on social media. You feel what I'm saying? And that'll be a topic that we can talk about, because a lot of us, a great mass majority of us, participate in it and don't even realize what we're participating in, and we allow ourselves to be triggered. So, you know, that's one of the things that I've been just like kind of taking back and looking at lately, on the perspective of like how I'm taking on unnecessary stress and putting my focus on shit that's unnecessary, like these social boxes that people create for us to put ourselves in so we can have something to fucking talk about. Meanwhile, our rights are on the line. And quite frankly, like I said, some of the rhetoric that I was fit to come on and talk about through my own journey of just like dating, my experience with men is just like, yo, I don't feel like having those conversations. Like I said, I'm not interested in pushing rhetoric that's going to divide us when our lives, our livelihood, and our rights are literally on the line. This is literally a time where we need to stop finding reasons to be divided, provide the respect that each one of us is asking for, and band together. And for some reason, I feel like the black community, myself included, we find reasons to stand divided. And I hate that shit. Today is Juneteenth, and I don't ever celebrate this holiday. I feel like this is a mockery day. Like, yeah, we made some great strides to make this a thing. But however, I feel like this holiday was a gimme to shut us up as a people, so that we won't seek better for ourselves, so that we won't seek retribution for all of the trespasses against us. And when they gave us this holiday, we just took it. They gave it to us like a pacifier, like a baby that's hungry, but instead of giving us the bottle to feed us, they gave us a pacifier, and our stomachs are still empty. We still grumbling. We still fighting for fucking equality out this bitch, and we celebrating Juneteenth like we made it. We didn't. And I don't give a fuck what anybody say, because if we made it, that 1-year-old wouldn't be killed. Cyrus wouldn't be dead. Carmelo Anthony wouldn't be in prison with 35 years, facing 35 years, serving 35 years. Like, it's just things that I see that I just don't, I can't resonate with. And that's me personally. I wish I could see it as emancipation. I wish I could see it as a day of freedom. I wish that I could enjoy it like the rest of my community do, but I don't. Not when people are literally still fighting for our lives to matter to people. I just don't see that. I don't see that. And I don't see our rights that are being currently infringed upon and snatched from us piece by piece. And we still sitting here hollering out, yeah, happy Juneteenth. And it just kind of like, I just feel like, yo, this celebration in the midst of what we going through, we shouldn't be celebrating the regression of the work our ancestors did. We have not been liberated yet. We don't have our own system. When we have our own system and our own way of life and the way that we operate, and we actually stick to that shit, then we can actually celebrate Juneteenth as a day of liberation. But as long as we are still operating under those that put us in slavery, as long as we're still operating within their system, we aren't liberated. I just don't see how anybody sees it like that outside of the change of physical slavery. We switched a physical slavery for a mental one. Like, and even still, our lifestyles, our persons is still being policed. So I have my own view of this day, and it annoys me when this day come around. It do, and I tell people, please don't say that shit to me. I don't see this as a liberative day. I don't, and I'm not knocking the accomplishment of making it into physical, getting out of, breaking free from physical bondage. However, that shit is still on the table to happen. Marriage boot camps, hello? Like, they're about to find reasons to put us in concentration camps, and we're celebrating Juneteenth. Come on now. Come on. Like, I just need y'all to come around. You feel what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, we all flawed, we all fucked up, we all discombobulated from different regions, different areas. celebrate and worship different things, but the one thing we do share is our skin color. One thing we do share is our struggles and the same threats. Be it a man, woman, trans, whatever the fuck you classify yourself as. And, you know, like I said, it's just been a time where I hit a rut. You know what I mean? Like, I stepped back from helping building people up to having to be back to building myself up. You know, and I feel like as of right now, like, my entire life has been about focusing on me. But because I have disregarded that, the people that I've taken upon myself to care for and make sure that they're straight have all but left. And I still end up in a position to where as though I have to care for myself and be by myself and do a lot of shit by myself. And it's not that I mind being by myself, but I'm a very responsible person. So once I take you into my heart, or if you are a part of my family, there's a sense of responsibility I feel in ensuring that you're okay, that you're straight, and that, you know, everything is taken care of. And due to that, that has caused me to be abandoned. And I know that's going to be like, Mona, what the fuck? How the fuck is caring for everybody cause you to be abandoned? Because I wasn't caring for myself. You feel what I'm saying? And that's one of those things where a person with a big heart, we have a tendency to do that, where we will show everybody that they are on a pedestal. We will do the most for them. We will show them how much of the world they mean to us. But in turn, we also show them that we come in last. You get what I'm saying? And even though that's a lesson that I thought I've conquered, I didn't conquer it within my family. I didn't think that that's something that I would have needed to learn within my family dynamic, but I'm learning it. You know, and upon accepting that, everybody have their life journey, even down to my children. You get what I'm saying? Like, I might not like the things that my kids do. I might not like the way that they move. They might not like the shit that I say or do or the way that I move. But at the end of the day, they still have their life to live. Their experiences, you know, what they go through, what they do is what's going to help them mold them into the person that they're supposed to be later on in life, whether I like the experience or not. And upon learning that and knowing that, is what allows me to accept where I am with my children now. Granted, we're all separated now, and, you know, I worked hard for us to be together, but at the end of the day, our journey is our journey. I will always love my kids, even though they hurt me. I will still always be there for my kids as much as I possibly can, even though they hurt me. And even though they made the decisions that they did, pardon me, because I just actually had a wasp in here. So I'm just kind of ensuring that I don't have any more pop up on me, because it's something about wasps and spiders that just make their way into my world, and before I know it, I'm saving them, rescuing them, and pushing them out my door. But, you know, as I was saying, like, they have to develop who they are. And as their mom, you know, I know my role as to guide them, to teach them, to impart my wisdom upon them so that they can make better decisions. But at the end of the day, I'm not in control of what decisions they make. And I have had to learn to accept that as a parent and as a mom. I can't protect my children or hold their hand through every bit of waking life, just like my parents couldn't. And there's some things that my children have to learn outside of me. Whether I like that shit or not, they have to. I had to learn outside of my parents. There's some experiences that my parents had that wasn't my experience. And likewise, there's experiences that my kids will have that I won't have. That's for them to live, not for me to dictate all the way through. Some things they just got to experience. And me having teenagers and teenage boys at that, it's a different dynamic from when I was growing up. We in a different time from when I was growing up, So it's also that too, with keeping up with how it was, how it is, and how it should be. And a lot of times, that's where we get fucked up in life, because we have this idea of how it should be, but God will show us how it really, truly is. And Seneca said it best, we suffer more often than our imagination. Like, we really, really do. Based off of just that one notion of how it should be. Not for what it is. Part of my journey that I had to learn was acceptance. I had to accept the fact that people are the way that they are. I had to learn to accept that people are the way that they are. You know what I mean? And when it boiled down to it, some people will always stay asleep. Some people won't ever open their mind up to other possibilities. Some people are truly stuck in their ways. Some people really do have a hard time relating or having empathy or even putting themselves in another person's shoes, which is one of the reasons why we experience so much judgment, is because people don't ever stop to think about what it would be like to be in another person's shoes. And just like the saying on my refrigerator, people see the choices you make, people see the decision you made, not the choices or the options that you had. And a lot of the times that shit gets us judged so fucking harshly, and people have no idea what it's like to even be in that fucking position until they're put in that position. So that's why I don't judge, but just the acceptance of a situation, the acceptance of people for showing me who they are, how they actually are, and really more so in a family dynamic, more so in a familial dynamic, not necessarily like strangers and friends and associates and acquaintances, because I can already navigate that. I can even navigate that with lovers, but the family dynamic really did its number on me, because I've been really big on family. I value family. When I was growing up, I kind of felt like we was like the sitcom, the Cosbys, where we could just, the Cosbys and Family Matters, where we could just, solve any and every issue that we ever had. And that was shattered early as a kid, but I always held on to that. We still did cookouts, and family cousins came over and kicked it with us. Like, we had a sense of camaraderie amongst my family growing up. And the older I got, the more it seemed to just fall by the wayside. And then now here we are, and we're in the next generation. And when it come down to me and my cousins, like, our kids don't know each other. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that shit got to me, But then I got to also understand how some of my family is. And I got to accept the fact of who they are now versus who I remember them as. I got to accept that, life has happened to them, and who they are now is just who they are. And I can't change that. You know what I mean? Like, and it is really put it's really shown me about myself, about the issues that I have personally, like my own flaws and issues that I have. Like, I realize, like, I do have control issues. I want shit to be a certain way. I like to have a certain outcome, or if I'm seeing or searching to have a certain outcome, I want to control every factor so that I can have that desired outcome, be it people, places, or things. And life has been humbling me to where as though I don't have a choice but to kind of let it happen, you know. And it's kind of showing me like, yo, you have control the way that you think you have control, but it's really over yourself. You know, I can manipulate energy as much as I want to, but there's some things that are just meant to happen that's gonna happen, and there's some things in our journey that are just gonna happen no matter how much energetic manipulation I do. You know what I mean? Like, and with that being said, it's just like, you know, I'm learning to allow life. I'm learning to allow the spirits. I'm learning to allow life, the universe, to do what it do without having my hand in every aspect of it. I'm learning to allow people to play the roles that they are meant to play in my life versus overextend their stay in my energy. And it's really been a hard thing to do, especially when, you know, you have in your mind's eye, or you have in your heart that, you know, you want this person or this group of people to come with you, just to find out that they not. You know what I mean? So it's all been a wild, fun, but crazy ass conundrum that's just been having me a bit everywhere. Like, I ain't even gonna hold you. Like, it's kind of been pissing me off, but the peace that I have accumulated is unmatched. I will say that. Like, I'm peaceful as fuck right now. I'm peaceful as fuck. And not only that, but like, when it boiled down to certain shit, you know, when it boiled down to certain things, or the way that I used to be, you know, I'm more vocal about what I have a disdain for. I'm more vocal about, you know, what I don't like. And I won't say I'm less forgiving, but I'm less tolerant of the bullshit now. And I'm not opening up the doors to my past anymore for anybody to swing back round because they realize they fucked up. I realized I became a little bit more harder when it comes down to trespasses and forgiving. It takes me a little bit longer to do so now because I have a mental cemetery. Once I off you inside my mind, I don't dig you back up. And yes, I do like necromancy, but I do not deal with zombies. I leave the dead with the dead, and I respect the dead as long as they stay dead. And that's how that works. So I'm just coasting through it right now. And right now, I don't know. I just ain't been in a mood like that to want to sit and talk. Because like I said, everything is just so traumatic and divisive. Like, it's sickening and it's sad, yo. I'm so tired of hearing about what men do, how men are, what men are like, what men do and don't do. I'm so tired of hearing about women, what women do and don't do, what women should do, how women should be, and, you know, all of that shit from men and women alike, bro, when all of this shit is fucking universal. All of this shit that each sex is saying, men and women alike, is universal shit. It's universal. And you can't tell me it fucking ain't. You can't. Not near bit of it. That's why I don't speak on shit like that often. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't make it my business to make that shit topic conversations. Because the reality of it is, you got good men, you got good women, you got some fuck niggas, and you got some fuck ass hoes. And at the end of the day, my nigga, that shit isn't just limited to a specific group. It's limited to both sides of the species. You get what I'm saying? Like, we all encounter that shit. You feel what I'm saying? We all encounter that shit. Respect is respect. You either gonna give it or you don't have it. You either gonna maintain your life or you gonna need a sponsor. Men want to do what women do, and women want to do what men do. Both want to be accepted in each other's spaces, but nobody wants